evening. This is Taiwo Nojobi, your host once again on Lanonasis Maple Sports. This is where we bring unfiltered opinions, sharp analysis, and some big love for Canadian hoops and ice. I'm always happy. This is Taiwo. I say today is a good day. Take a chance. Want more and be amazing. Pursue your passion and be brave and make a difference. Today I'm going to get the opportunity to just dive right into something I've not done before. I came up with a list of top 10, but I'll be spending time to analyze my top five so far. Looking at the number of weeks that we've gone by within the NBA, we're still going all the way to about 82 games. But so far, there are some top five guys that are going for the MVP race, and I decided to break it down based on popular numbers and reviewing what some of the analysts are looking at and how they've been able to influence their team based on all these parameters. I've looked at it and I'm like, okay, these are my top 10 teams or top 10 players within the MVP race. That being said, without diving right into so much of it, number one is our Jokic guy. His Christmas performance was outstanding. Even though the Christmas week kind of just creates that benchmark for how the last few weeks has been for him. I've said it in previous podcasts that he's getting a lot of break because there's now a backup center in Valanciunas. So right now he's playing at a very high level. Christmas game he had 56, 16 and 15. That's very, very outstanding, And it's not just that he had these numbers against a small team. He had these numbers against a major contender in the West, which is the Minnesota team. It was a Christmas Day, regular season, TV window, but two heavyweights within the West. And this is a team that they've met in the postseason. They've had to struggle through at some point, and they definitely understand that team is a powerhouse when it comes to defense. So it's not just that these numbers came up at this time of the season, but Denver is missing three crucial starters, which is Gordon, Cam Johnson, and Christian Brown. You understand, in the piece. So Jokic has to kind of maximize his usage on the team and try and just come up clutch. And still they were able to grind out this win. And that's why he's outstanding as my number one. On my list is just number one. And that's just the way I see it. This situation brought out the best in him. He had 56 points, 16 boards, and 15 assists. He was 15 of 21 on field goal percentage. On his free throws, he was close to 100%, which is 22 of 23. He had 2 blocks, and all this he did in 43 minutes. That's not just volume, it's scoring efficiency, if you ask me. And, the 56, he scored them on 21 shots, which is very absurd. It's a big man level efficiency, if you ask me. And he's winning at all levels as well. 15 assists also shows that he had something to do with scoring for other members of the team. And it means that he was the offense in every dimension of that team. And I'm really happy that he's doing that at an historical level and very, very high level as well. So for me, if you look at it very well, the normalization of this team is how they slide into top 10, with consistency and 3 of their major players still injured, is what I feel that gives them that extra edge, especially when they go into the postseason. And I like the way Jokic is number one on the MVP race. And I think that narrative will continue to, be pushed out there. It was so difficult last season that a lot of the analysts had to wait for how their performance is going to be in postseason before they decided on who they were going to crown as MVP. Yeah, because they needed that narrative to flow. They needed people to push some certain narratives and they wanted it to be on the floor. And, at the end of the day, SGA ended up winning. I'm happy for SGA, but Jokic, is still a monster when it comes to, his approach to the game. So looking at it, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the obvious number 2. Shout out to him. He has just won the Canadian athlete of the year, which is good. Canadian Press Athlete of the Year. Shout out to him. He's winning it the second time with over 86% of the votes, and that's very, very effective. For me, it's not just that he's winning at this time of the season, but he's actually winning it when a lot of other Canadian athletes are just performing a little bit above average, especially with the fact that he has also had the opportunity to elevate the Canadian basketball team to a higher pedestal, especially when it comes to playing in the Eurobasket, in the Olympics, how he has improved the team. And now Canadians are beginning to feel that, we are a basketball house or we're a basketball powerhouse when it comes to country performance, especially at the, you know, even though we don't play at the Eurobasket, Canadians don't play at the Eurobasket, but at least at Olympics, we could see that the Canadian team was, making a lot of noise. But it shows that the Canadian team has improved because of him. And he has also elevated how the Canadian community now starts to look at basketball because they know there's a Canadian powerhouse in Oklahoma City playing at a very high level. And I'm really happy that he has brought in that dominance back to Canada, and people are now beginning to see Canada as a powerhouse when it comes to basketball. Remember that a Canadian called Naismith was the guy that founded basketball as a sport. So the only thing is, once the US decides to take a sport very seriously, they will just go to the highest level and they will have the highest number of teams. And, once they just decide to take it seriously, they will always win. But Canadian teams have always been very clinical when it comes to hockey too as well. Clinical. They won it a lot in the 80s and early 90s. But the moment the US started getting serious with those sports, they will just come and overtake one way or the other. But, anytime we get some glimpse of a Canadian outstanding in any sport, we just try to put it out there and say congratulations, giving them their flowers as well. Luka Doncic will be my number 3 team. On the box score, is doing about 34, 8.6, 8.8. I still call these video game numbers because he's still playing at a very high level, scoring efficiently. He's had a bit of injury problem. He's had some back and forth on injuries, but he's still coming back, full before the end of the season. They are coming up with a strategy. I was able to catch up with some of the things they are trying to do to keep him healthy in the postseason. There were situations when the coach actually called out the entire team because of some dips in their performance. They won yesterday. I was catching up with their game against the Sacramento Kings, which was very outstanding yesterday. But what I'm saying generally is the team is going to struggle if Doncic is injured. It's just clear. He's the head of the team. He's the best player on the team. They're going to struggle. Austin Reeves is injured right now, and they've struggled a bit because they've lost 3 matches in the last 5. Yeah, they've lost 3. So Austin Reeves and Doncic are the best players on that team. But Doncic is number 3 on my list today, and he's going to be facing a lot more as they go on in the season. He has to carry the weight of the team, and that's why he's the highest earning player apart from LeBron on that team, and he doesn't have a choice but to, continue to be the face of the franchise. So for number 4, we have Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson has had a good time. After winning the NBA Cup, he's been very outstanding. He's the clear clutch guy so far. This season, he really helped well. He was 20 of 34 in the second half versus Cleveland, and he helped them erase a 17-point deficit, and that was very outstanding even within the Christmas period. He had 47 points and 0 turnovers versus Miami as well, and that's a very good superstar level control. He will continue to do that because he's very well enabled with the system which the New York team is playing now, and that puts him in a better position to succeed. Now with the new coach, he's now playing a bit faster. Yeah, with Mike Brown coming, he's now playing a bit faster and he's doing so well. So if they don't have Brunson, playing at a very high level, the team would also struggle. Even though they have good wing defenders, they have also Josh Hart is playing some light out basketball, these days, but they still need him to be the leader of the team, take more risk for the team, and help them move forward. Kate Cunningham too is also doing so well. I'm happy for him. Shout out to him once again after signing his Nike deal for the city of Detroit. He's representing Detroit, in this narrative. He's helping the team as a leader, and he's one of the youngest leaders we are having now. At this level, helping the team to stay number 1 in the Eastern Conference. This is a team we never saw, getting to this level. And looking at the numbers, his numbers alone have really helped the team. He's playing efficiently. He's combining well with Duren. Duren is kind of reminding me of a lot of top elite players that played in the early 2000s. And, Duren is showing that, they can be a team that will make a lot of noise in the East. And, they are growing into some kind of heliocentric team, And when I mean an heliocentric team, it means that they depend on each other to succeed. And they are quite young. Even Osa Thompson, too, is also doing well. His brother is also, playing some very, very high-level basketball with the Houston team. And I'm really happy the way things are going. And for me, Cade is a safe top five in the league presently. He's going to be an all-star. He will most likely be an all-NBA first team this season, and I really like what I'm seeing. Once he can just help this team to go ahead and be number one in the East, then he would have cemented his name. And in the postseason, he can just come up clutch and give us good performance. But I like what I'm seeing from him. I'm really happy because the performance is not just a fluke of 4 or 5 games. He has done this for over 20 games, leading the team in all categories, showing that leadership at a very young age. I'm really happy for him. And now that the city of Detroit has decided to rally around him, they have more people coming to watch matches in Detroit. Detroit is now like a powerhouse once again. And all this is because of this young man they call Cade Cunningham. And he's my number 5 on my list today. I'm really happy for him. I won't dive right into 6 to 10, but I'll just, say their names all for the, for the fun of it. Wembanyama is number 6, playing very well, helped his San Antonio team to get to the finals of the NBA Cup, but they were a bit short and they lost to Jalen Brunson. But shout out to him. Hopefully he doesn't go back on injury so that he qualifies for a lot of the award categories. Jalen Brown is my number 7. He's playing well. He has single-handedly brought back Boston to be a bit relevant. I know he's going to struggle. They still lost against Portland yesterday, but he's still a very good player. Anthony Edwards is still playing well. He's still helping the Timberwolves. He was injured for a few weeks, but he's back helping the Timberwolves to really push and try to just create better opportunities to be able to fight this season. Maxey is also playing well for the Philadelphia 76ers, but I feel that Philadelphia 76ers team is still trying to get an identity. They are very careful when it comes to injury with Embiid, and they are not sure of how things will be between now and the end of the season. They are still in the top half of the season. They are still playing well, but Maxey is carrying a lot of the load because even Paul George too is still on minute restriction. Is still coming in gradually, but they don't want to risk injuries. They want 3 of them to be very well coordinated before the postseason, and they can try to push for some postseason success as well. Jamal Murray is playing well, and is one of the reasons why the Denver team is outstanding this season. Jamal is playing lights out basketball. He's also a Canadian that is also doing well, who was also voted for in that category of the Canadian Press Athlete of the Year. So talking a little bit about the Canadian Athlete of the Year press, Steve Nash has won it before, and that's the only non-American that has been MVP in the league as well. Non-American or full-time Canadian that has also been MVP of the NBA league as well, apart from SGA, who is the second Canadian to win MVP of the league, and he's been having some good times since then. So shout out to him, Jamal Murray, for playing well. Karl Anthony Towns is number 10 on my list. He's the Robin for Jalen Brunson. He has been supporting Jalen Brunson in the center position, even though he's been having backup from Robinson as well. But so far I'm seeing that they're stabilizing, they're getting to understand each other. He's playing faster and he's a bit more aggressive. And also I heard some small news that he just got engaged with his girlfriend. They've been dating for about 5 years. Shout out to you, Karl Anthony Towns. I wish you all the best. As you decide to go down the aisle, all the best in your marriage, and more news to come and better accolades to come across some of the things that are going on in the league. I like Mike Brown. He's beginning to settle into the team. I heard he drove multiple hours to go and see Jalen Brunson. He called Josh Hart when he was told that he was going to be the coach of the team. I like the way he's connecting with those players. He's learned a lot from what happened in the Sacramento Kings. So he doesn't call out players anymore. He probably still wants to keep his job. So he has a way of connecting with them and getting the best out of them. And that's why they brought him to a very, very good team. And hopefully they're able to push a bit. I just need them to do is just even go ahead and win, Eastern Conference. I know it's going to be a difficult thing to ask for a team in the East to come and win the entire NBA championship. It's going to be tough, even though they've won the NBA Cup and they brought it back, brought the New York team back to some relevance and conversations, on how the postseason will look like. But if there were no injuries at all, they can challenge. But I still see a team in the West winning the championship because the West is stacked heavy, really. Yeah, so that's the end for my top 10. And before I just cap it up, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Cleveland Cavaliers. I watched their game against the Houston Rockets, and I can see clearly that the team is struggling. The Cleveland team is struggling. I like Donovan Mitchell. He's the best player on that team. And shout out to him. I also got some information about his dating, a very powerful lady as well. Shout out to him. But the performance generally for the Cleveland team is abysmal. It's not good enough. Looking at what has been happening, over the last 5 to 6 weeks. At this time of the year, last season, they have not even lost up to 10 games. But this season they've lost close to 16 already. And they are struggling a bit. I try to just take some time and look at the analysis between them and the Houston Rockets and what really went wrong. Kevin Durant had it very easy. He had an easy 30-point game. A lot of things were wrong. Even though Cleveland had fewer turnovers, but they lost a lot of their points off turnovers, and that was 24-11. So it was more of an hidden blowout. A lot of people didn't see the blowout. It was more of an hidden blowout. There's more problem in Cleveland than what people are seeing. So if you look at it, Houston turnovers were dead balls or low impact. You understand? So they were not converting based on turnovers from Houston, and that's not good enough compared to what they were doing last season. Now, their Cleveland's turnovers were live ball, and they were momentum killers. You understand? They were not playing like as if they were playing for anything. Their coach actually won Coach of the Year last season, and I'm wondering what has really happened to the team. There was a 15-0 run. For the Houston Rockets, they went on a 15-0 run, and that 15-0 run was looking like as if they couldn't stop the bleeding. Something is really wrong with the team. The lineup construction is still okay. I don't think there's an issue with that. Leadership is still Donovan Mitchell. Everything is still good. But looking at the tactical timeout, adjustment issues, there were some struggles around that area. If you look at their defensive rebounding, it collapsed, and that was a red flag. And I looked at some of the red flags. Their three-point shooting has collapsed as well. They are heavily depending on Donovan Mitchell, and he's presently doing below 35%. You understand? The entire team was 11 of 36 from 3 in this match. And under 31%, they are doing this for the 12th time this season. You understand? So, rim finishing is not really good compared to the way they were, last season. There's a lot of broken offense going on. No spacing, no rim pressure, no free throws, no bailout shooters. Everything is struggling. And one of the things I felt is making them struggle is Garland. Garland is not really playing well this season. This match, it was minus 32. And there's still a matchup problem with him. He's not showing any effort on the defense. And that's why there may be a problem for him. Because almost everybody that matches up with him are even playing better than him. So problems are happening. Mobley is not defensive. He had just 4 points in this match. And I don't think he's rusty, even though he came back from injury, but he's 2 of 9 shooting, no physical presence like last year. Jared Allen, that was very, very physical last season, had just 6 points, 4 rebounds in 18 minutes. So everybody is bullying him compared to last season. Now Atkinson has reduced his minutes, but we're still not getting the best. That rim protection, they've lost it completely. It's no more there like last season. Jalen Tyson is the only guy that is bringing the energy and is the only bright spot for the team, but it's not good enough because he doesn't have that experience. He had 15 rebounds, 8 offensive in under 30 minutes. That's good. His energy is the only one helping the team. Kevin Durant went with an easy 30 points, against a very, very good team, and a lot of people are just surprised at what's really happening. Hunter is struggling. Okoro is undersized. Merrill is a good shooter, but he's also trying. Mobley is on restriction, so he's not really playing the full minutes. And Allen can't switch onto wings. Switching onto wings is becoming a problem for him. DeAndre Hunter was 0 of 7 that night, and that's minus 28 on plus minus, no defensive impact. That's not good enough. Hunter needs to stabilize at the wings to give Cleveland some kind of what I call redemption going into probably because they've not really gotten to half of the season yet, but going into the new year, they need to change some things. Rim finishing is still catastrophic. If you look at where they were, 16th loss of the season came December 28th. They are losing their 16th match. Whereas this number came April 6th last season. You understand? It came on the 6th of April. So it's still a very bad record for them. So if you look at their record versus elite teams, they are 3 of 8 versus top 10 point differential teams. So last season they were 16 of 6 at this stage. So there's still a lot of problems that need to be solved. And in my final diagnosis, I just, came up with a structural identity. And I feel that they don't have good wing stoppers this season. They are not showing any physicality, no rebounding reliability at all, no rim pressure at all, no lineup that can survive elite athleticism. If they are playing a team that is very athletic, they can't survive. No ability to stop runs and no offensive versatility when shots don't fall. So that's a big problem for them. And I hope that they're able to figure this out and just give us a bit of a fight. Not even when the East is heavily battered. Now a team like New York that was not even in the conversation before, right now is even having more chances. So this comes to the end of my NBA takes for today. I just hope that most of the teams I've talked about really improve on one or two things. I've looked at the risk. I've also looked at some of the reward of their system. A team like the Cavaliers have to improve. On the flip side, my team, the LA Clippers, are now getting it together. Shout out to Kawhi that had 55 points yesterday. I was so impressed when I saw the performance against a Piston team who is number one in the East. Kawhi single-handedly just wielded the win for us, and that's a very good one. And that's one of the key highlights for the Christmas performance, 55 points. It's been a long time he's had 55 points. I've not really seen him have 55 points in a long time. Shout out to him. And the Lakers to us also won yesterday. And, let them continue the good performance. And let's see how it's going to be, between now and beginning of the new year. Once again, I want to say have a wonderful new year ahead. And for some of you that have missed out on Merry Christmas, today is a good day. Sing your heart out, be brave, and make a difference. God bless you.